Hello everyone, I'm Parker and we'll continue to think big. The second issue for students during their college years is related to their studies. During college, learning relies entirely on self-discipline and one's efforts. Although there are professors and teachers giving lectures, they mainly provide a general direction of knowledge. Much of the educational content requires you to consult a large number of reference books. Even in college, it's not just about answering questions. Sometimes you need to reference a lot of materials for research papers. Therefore, whether students can learn with self-awareness varies from person to person. Certainly some students can still study conscientiously because they have assignments and papers to complete and they have no choice but to figure it out. They can't get by without reading. Even if they try to copy, they wouldn't know what to copy. So during college, various issues arise in studying. In my previous lectures during my high school years, I discussed a problem. There are many intelligent students who during college don't often visit the library. They occasionally borrow some materials, quickly skim through them, and can still write excellent papers. It's not just their intelligence. Most importantly, their thinking patterns are correct. They break down the paper according to their thinking patterns and find what they need. So their efficiency is very high. Often during college, issues related to thinking patterns in learning become more apparent and are showcased quite vividly. Many people may not agree with my statement, but think about it for yourselves, including current college students and adults who have graduated from college. I have one question for you. What have you learned in college? How many of you can answer that when you talk about your major and basic knowledge? To be honest, these are some essential and fundamental prerequisites for your future career. But once you've learned these prerequisites, can you apply them? Do you have the confidence to apply them flexibly? You may have learned a formula or advanced mathematics, but if you ignore the premises, conditions and thresholds of that formula, I want to ask you, do you know where to apply it? During college, learning truly relies on your effort. Everything the teachers need to teach is in the textbooks. It's all there. Moreover, corresponding to each textbook, there are many supplementary materials, study guides, and even research papers you need to explore and learn these on your own in your spare time. No one can assist you. So from high school to college, the issue of learning undergoes a new qualitative leap, and this qualitative leap is something many freshmen in college struggle to adapt to. The biggest challenge is the issue of self-discipline. Many people are unable to force themselves to read the books diligently for exams, and the problem lies in whether you can understand what you read and grasp the key points. This brings us back to the issue of thinking patterns. I wonder if many college graduates have had this experience. Many times after you graduate from college and enter the workforce, you realize that you don't even know what you learned, and even if you know, you don't know how to apply it to your job. The saddest thing in life is perhaps this. But why do these problems occur? It's due to flawed thinking patterns during college. If students have a good thinking pattern, they can learn knowledge in a very targeted and efficient way. They understand how to use that knowledge because they analyze it with their thinking patterns and draw conclusions. So entering college truly tests a person's all-around abilities, not just abstract thinking, but especially the ability to think critically. If your thinking pattern is incorrect, you will struggle, and even after completing your studies, you will remain an ineffective individual in society because you won't know how to apply what you've learned. So during college, students often find themselves in a state of confusion and busy studying. This situation is also quite lamentable. If you're still blindly studying in college, consider how you will integrate into society and connect with future work. In terms of learning, students exhibit a wide range of behaviors, and many students in particular tend to focus on the superficial aspects without understanding the underlying principles. In the end, when it comes to connecting foundational courses with specialized courses, they don't know how to apply their knowledge. They simply read the textbooks, listen to the teacher's lectures, and try to understand the material at hand. However, they often lack a deeper understanding because that's how the education process in college is structured. College itself is also meant to cultivate self-learning abilities, but the problem lies in the fact that as students it's challenging to grasp the importance of this self-learning ability. This self-learning ability is essential for your future when you enter the workforce and join a company. Many subjects and knowledge areas you may not fully understand and will need to relearn. You may need to learn them as if you were pursuing further education. All of this heavily relies on your self-learning ability. It's quite lamentable that the majority of college students are not aware of the existence of this issue. So in terms of learning, this is the situation among the students who attend college. A significant portion of them come with the mindset of simply obtaining a college diploma to make it easier to find a job in the future. Whether this mindset is right or wrong is subjective, and we won't delve into that discussion further. Regardless of the perspective, if you aim to obtain a diploma, you first have to make it through college. If you can't make it through, what's the point? You still need to learn many things. If you don't, how can you pass your exams? Setting aside special cases like bribery and cheating, which are rare exceptions, we don't need to focus on those. Most students still have to study, even if it means seeking help from classmates who excel academically, whether it's for assignments or explanations. In any case, learning is still necessary. If you don't study, you really won't make it through, right? So during this period, student studies can be very tiring and challenging. However, the question is how many students truly devote all their energy to studying. That's impossible and unrealistic. They have a lot of extracurricular activities. As I mentioned earlier, these extracurricular activities are numerous and varied, and each person is different. However, in such a situation, it's challenging to determine whether students can keep up with their studies, apply what they learn, and even if their foundational knowledge will be useful in their future jobs. I don't want to dwell on this issue too much because this is how their studies are. What I want to discuss next is that due to the differences in students' learning attitudes, thinking patterns, and behaviors led to differences in their future careers and professional success. You cannot ignore these issues. You might look at someone, for example, who studied the same major as you did and they graduated and quickly became a senior engineer, while you lagged far behind. What should you do? So I want to remind all college students, especially those who have just entered college, not to overlook this point. Your current learning is the foundation for your future work or career. If you stray from this essential and fundamental knowledge, I believe your future will be filled with confusion and sorrow. Don't assume that graduating from college will automatically ensure you can support yourself. It's challenging, especially in today's society with a high proportion of college graduates, and everyone's circumstances are different. Why should an employer hire you if you don't have a solid foundation, if you don't know how to apply what you've learned, and if you don't understand how to fully utilize your knowledge? No employer will hire you. Nowadays, everyone is aware that the unemployment rate among college graduates is very high. Graduating from college does not guarantee immediate employment. It's not possible. So what do you do when you encounter this situation? This is different from what you were thinking about in middle school and high school, because the questions you were pondering then were simple. Getting into college, you didn't think much about the future, but when you reach college, you need to consider the future first. You are now an adult. Second, after graduating from college, you will need to be financially independent. Your parents cannot support you for your entire life, except for those with exceptionally wealthy parents who are willing to do so. What would be the meaning of your life if you relied on your parents forever? For most students, your parents are not going to provide you with financial support after you graduate from college, and they won't be able to sustain you. Can you become self-sufficient after entering college? Your sense of urgency should be stronger because it involves real-life matters. Unlike in high school or middle school, the most practical concern is whether you can support yourself in the future. Give it some serious thought. If you think anything goes and are overly self-assured, just try it when you enter the real world in the workplace. Who will accept your attitude? What you will face is the harsh reality of society, which will not spare you. The reason is Straightforward, you are essentially nothing. You hold an empty diploma without substantial knowledge. Many college graduates face this situation when searching for a job. They go for interviews with employers who ask questions that they don't understand and they end up talking nonsense. What's the point of that? Why are there so many unemployed college graduates? This point needs to be emphasized. Don't think that just because you've entered college and obtained a diploma your future will automatically be bright. That's not true. You could end up unemployed, or your situation might even worsen because your parents won't support you anymore. Some parents can support, but what about those who don't? How will you survive? Moreover, when you are unemployed and without a job, your social relationships, including your relationships with potential partners, will be affected. Who will still see potential in you? Who will still respect you during your college years? Many of you may have been in relationships because you didn't face the real world during that time. You weren't exposed to the challenges and choices of society. As a result, you might have been somewhat arrogant, thinking that your relationship would be perfect. Let me tell you, it's not realistic, and I'll be blunt, the success rate of college relationships is very low, though not non-existent. The reason is this: once you enter society, if one person doesn't have a job or isn't contributing, the other person may leave you. It's very practical. Life is very practical. No one can say that they can escape from the realities of life in their lifetime. This kind of practicality will accompany everyone throughout their lives. So here I want to remind those who are just starting college or are currently in college to think fully about their future. Don't waste your precious youth on things that won't benefit you. Your future life and career will depend on the fundamental knowledge you are acquiring in college right now. If you are not even aware of this, I'll be blunt, there's no hope for you. No one can help you. Even if your parents are powerful, influential, or wealthy, they cannot work in your place, solve your family issues, or take care of everything for you. What will you do when that time comes? Once again, I want to remind you to seriously reconsider whether your mindset is fundamentally flawed. In the realm of academics, there's another aspect that needs to be addressed. Many students engage in plagiarism, copying from their peers, copying other people's assignments or papers, and even getting others to help them with their graduation projects. This phenomenon often stems from a desire to simply obtain a university degree without much effort. This behavior is not uncommon, especially in this era of advanced internet access, where answers and materials can be readily found online too. Those students, I won't dwell on whether what you're doing is right or wrong, because it's wrong and there's little room for debate. Instead, let me ask you this: even if you manage to obtain that diploma through such means, do you truly believe it will be beneficial? Will you be prepared for the corresponding job or career? As a result, we see another phenomenon where many college graduates, after facing unemployment, end up taking jobs that seem unrelated to their education, such as working in fast food, opening restaurants, or selling clothing, among other things. Many people believe that money is the most important thing. I find myself wondering, what is the purpose of attending college if money is so crucial? Is it merely to symbolize a certain social status for yourself? Does it make a meaningful difference to say I am a college graduate when you are out there in the world? Unfortunately, there are quite a few students with such a mindset. What's even more alarming is that many parents also share this mindset. I fail to understand why parents would invest their money and make sacrifices to send their children to college only for them to graduate and pursue completely unrelated jobs. Is it all for the sake of appearances, so they can boast about their child being a college graduate? This situation is indeed prevalent in developing countries and impoverished nations. To what extent, I cannot say, as I haven't conducted any statistical analysis. However, I do know one thing: the majority of students and parents seem to share this mindset, and that is truly concerning. If attending college is seen merely as an honor or a capital for showing off, then the pursuit of higher education truly loses its meaning. To be frank, there are many college students who, instead of pursuing entrepreneurial ventures or starting a business anew, end up in jobs like selling snacks. I have one question for them: why not start earlier and potentially earn more money? What's the point of going through the trouble of obtaining a college degree if you believe that money is the top priority and the most important thing when your mindset places money as the utmost priority? Why attend college if attending college truly leads to creating wealth? It should undoubtedly result in far more wealth creation than not attending, making your college education meaningful. Alright, flipping the perspective, you seem to think that money is more important, right? So what's the point of you attending college if you truly possess the intelligence and capability you believe you have? Whether you graduate from high school or even junior high, you could start your entrepreneurial journey and make money. Why insist on spending those extra years in college? What's the purpose? In the end, you might graduate from college, but none of the knowledge you acquired will be put to use, and you essentially wasting your youth. So I don't have a definitive stance on this issue, but I want to ask you parents and students, what are you thinking? Is it all just for the sake of reputation? Does the so-called honor hold any meaning? Since you've chosen to attend college, why not acquire some useful knowledge there, even if your goal is to make money? Wouldn't it be easier if you learned subjects like economics and statistics well before entering the workforce? Have you ever considered these questions since you've made it to the classrooms of a university and you've reached this point through your efforts or intelligence? Why would you give up now? Of course, I don't rule out the possibility that it may be the wrong choice of major, one that doesn't align with their interests and hobbies, and in such cases it's indeed difficult to continue studying. If you want to ensure that you can continue your studies, then I would advise you one thing when selecting a major for the college entrance exam: always choose a major that aligns with your interests and hobbies. I'd like to emphasize something specifically for parents when it comes to choosing majors for their children in college. Many parents become forgetful and arrogant during this process. Have you ever asked your children about their interests and hobbies if the chosen major is not suitable for them? These decisions are often made by parents instead. The behavior of parents in this regard is very sad, regrettable, and even frightening. Many parents completely disregard their children's feelings. Choosing a major for a child in such a situation is a tragic event, because in the end the child may not be able to continue due to a lack of interest in the field. I must say this: the unfortunate aspect of being a parent often lies in pretending to know everything. Furthermore, let me tell you one observation: when many parents help their children choose a major, they often choose fields they do not understand. If you don't believe it, you can investigate this. Why is that? It's because they see those unfamiliar fields as mysterious and prestigious, so they often choose such majors on behalf of their children. In reality, it's quite alarming. The only pillar supporting young people in their learning journey is their hobbies and interests. If they are not interested in or passionate about something, they won't be able to pursue it. My viewpoint is simply a suggestion for students and parents. Whether you choose to listen or not is up to you, especially for those who are parents. If you want to be self-righteous, go ahead. After all, you are the ones affecting your children and no one is trying to interfere with you. Speaking of this, it's quite frustrating because this phenomenon is very common. In my research, I've encountered it many times and I believe it's a source of sorrow for many young people. Let's conclude this lecture here for now.
Friends who are interested in my lectures, please click to subscribe and click on the little bell. At the same time, the links to the Big Tree Thinking Model Theory ebook and the Big Tree Thinking Model and Junior High School Mathematics lectures are here below. Friends can click on the link to watch related free lectures. Thank you all.